All righty, here we go. It is a brand new Flyers Daily for the 2nd of January, 2025. Flyers Daily is always presented by Ticketmaster. Make more memories live. Welcome to 2025. Hope everybody had a really good, safe, and happy new year. Your whole holiday experience was good with family, friends, loved ones, and it was a productive and good one for everybody. We now are turned the page to 2025 and another calendar year in front of us. Kind of a renewed beginning in a lot of ways. I'm looking forward to 2025. I got meaningful games on my schedule for 2025 that I plan on winning. Real quick, couple of things before we get into kind of the meat and potatoes of this episode. First and foremost, the Flyers had put out a new injury report on Sam Ersson, who left the game against the San Jose Sharks with a 3-0 shutout going in the third period. Kolosov started the third period. General Manager Daniel Briere said that goaltender Sam Ersson is day-to-day with a lower body injury. John Tortorella did say yesterday that he thought maybe, or after the game rather, that there was the injury was sustained when he had that contact when he came out on a puck. I will tell you that when goaltenders come out on a puck, they're very vulnerable because the player that's coming in is coming in and set and coming in for the puck. The goaltender is kind of going out in a very prone position and obviously is not dressed to attack pucks in open ice like a forward is. So oftentimes he's in a disadvantageous position. I'm not sure what happened, but one of the other things John Tortorella mentioned when talking about Sam Ersson and, if he's going to be out long term or if he's going to be back in quickly, is that when a goaltender is coming back from, as they've termed it, a lower body injury, my read is it's probably a groin or something like that, or a core injury. And for a goaltender, it's not just about the injury healing. There's a problem sometimes with an injury like that for a goaltender. It's right here, right between your ears, because you're using your legs, your core, your groin so much, and you put your body in such contorted and stretched out and vulnerable positions that even if it's healed, you still have the problem of the thing between your ears that causes a little bit of hesitation because you don't want to re-injure it. It's kind of reminds me of about 20 years ago in the NFL, whenever they would say a running back went out and missed a season with, say, a torn ACL or a knee injury, it always took a year plus one for that player to be back to normal. He was physically back to normal after the missed season and the next season, but he didn't have mental trust in the knee to be able to cut on it, to be able to take contact on it and those kind of things. And that just takes time. Same thing for a goaltender in that position. And groins for goaltenders is very difficult to deal with. It's a difficult one to manage. We'll see where this goes for Sam Ersson. Obviously, it's important. It's important for this team. And I talked about this on the post-game show after the 4-0 win over San Jose. If Ivan Fedotov needs to be put back in the mix right now, was the third goalie, but if he needs to be put back in the mix, and I don't think he's going to play tonight, I think Kolosov's going to play tonight. You don't have a back-to-back until coming up on the 13th and 14th, but he's going to have to play. He hasn't played a full game since Black Friday. That was the Ranger game. He last appeared in a game on December 5th, where he got pulled after the first period after giving up 2 goals on 7 shots. So hasn't played in a long time, hasn't probably gotten the requisite practice reps while all 3 goalies were here. So there's going to be rust on him. There's just no way of avoiding it. So we'll see where this goes. It's certainly something to keep an eye on for this Flyers team. So Ersson day to day, we'll see when he's able to get back in there. I just hope it's not one of those years for Ersson where he can't just ride the wave at any point and stay healthy. This would now be the 3rd time he's been injured this year. Is it the same injury? Is it a recurrence? I don't know. We don't know that. But it's concerning because going into the season, your biggest question mark was goaltending, and the goaltender with the least question marks of the 3 is Sam Ersson. But he's now also become a big question mark because of availability. So we'll see where this goes. We'll obviously be keeping a very close eye on it. Flyers back in action tonight. Real quick, before we get to the Flyers Vegas Golden Knights game tonight, first of all, the San Jose game, I thought the Flyers played a really good game. They did exactly what they were supposed to do against a team like San Jose. And since that was the last game of the calendar year 2024, we're going to look at the calendar year 2024. In total, key dates throughout the calendar year 2024. It was a really important year. Even though it was a sub 500 record, it was an important year. We'll get into that, and we'll prognosticate ahead to the calendar year 2025. But first of all, Flyers back in action tonight. They're in Vegas to take on the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas right now, the highest points percentage team in the NHL at .716. They have been very good once again. I feel like they've always been good. But Vegas right now sitting in the top spot of the Pacific Division, 6 points up on the Kings. They've played 37 games, 25 wins, 9 losses, 3 overtime losses, 53 points, as I mentioned. Good record at home, 15-4 at home, 10-5-3 on the road. They're plus 29 in goal differential, 8-2 in their last 10. They did lose their last one. That was against Montreal, I believe, or Pittsburgh. It was against Montreal. 3-2 was the final in that game. And this Vegas team won 10 of their last 12, not just 8-2, 10 in their last 12 as well. So they're not only playing well. I'll take away the last game they lost. They're an absolute legit Stanley Cup contender once again. And again, that plus 29 in goal differential, pretty daunting number when you consider the Flyers right now are minus 17 in goal differential, 5-5 in their last 10. Flyers 17-4. They come into this game at Hockey 500, sitting in the 5th spot of the Metropolitan Division. They're actually tied in points with Columbus, and they're 1 point back of the Pittsburgh Penguins with a game in hand on the Pens. So it's going to be the Flyers and Vegas tonight. Who's leading the way for Vegas when it comes to point production? How about Jack Eichel? We saw him earlier this season. He had that one goal that he picked right out of his feet and got the shot off and was able to beat, I think it was Fedotov in that game. No, it was Kolosov in that game. I thought he defaulted too early on that one down to his knees. And 37 games played, 48 points for Eichel, 10 of them goals, 38 assists, playing over 20 minutes a night. Got 13 power play assists. He's been great for him. Tomas Hertl, 7 power play goals. Mark Stone missed a couple of games, missed a bunch of games. 23 games played, 30 points though. He's still getting it done. Pietrangelo on the blue lines got 20 points in 34 games, 3 goals, 17 assists. And it's just a really, really good team. And we'll see who we see between the pipes tonight. Will be Aiden Hill, who's played in 24 games. He's got 16 wins, 16 losses, and 2 overtime losses, and a save percentage of .902. Or will it be Ilya Samsonov, who we saw in that last game with a .906 save percentage? We shall see who the Flyers see in net tonight for Vegas, and I suspect it'll be Kolosov in net for the Flyers. Boy, coming in after 2 periods of sitting, being the backup in the game against San Jose, and then having a bunch of testers in that game against San Jose. I thought Kolosov came in, and really that's a tough spot to be put in for a goaltender, but he came in and performed really well in that spot. So kudos to Kolosov for the way he performed in preserving the combined shutout for the Flyers. All right, 2024. Mwah, kiss you later. See you later. You can bleep off. 2024 is in the rear view, and the Flyers will look ahead to 2025, but let's put a bow on 2024. The Flyers last year in 2024 played 46 games. They had a record, this obviously from January until the end of the season in April. They played 46 games. In those 46, they had a record of 19-21-6. So 2 games under Hockey 500. In 2024, the games so far this season, they've played 38 games. They have a record of 17-17-4. All said and done, the Flyers have a record of 36, 38, and 10 in the 84 games that they played in the calendar year of 2024. Kind of feels like purgatory. Is it a step forward from where they were in 2023? Probably a couple of wins, but overall, it's no big jump. Now, what happened in 2024? Well, here's some key dates for you. The action got underway pretty quick in 2024 because on January 8th, just after the new year, about a year ago, the Flyers traded Cutter Gauthier, and the fifth pick in the 2022 NHL draft to Anaheim for Jamie Drysdale and a second-round pick in this coming draft. So the action got underway right away. I was like, whoa. And that was a harbinger of some big things to come. On January 20th, Carter Hart played his last game as a member of the Philadelphia Flyers. It was against the Colorado Avalanche. On February 14th, Sean Couturier was named the 20th captain in Flyers history. So some important dates here. We're going to get a little out of order now. On March 29th, Ivan Fedotov joins the Flyers. He comes over and he makes his first game appearance on April 1st. He made 19 saves on 21 shots in a game against the New York Islanders. So that was his first appearance. Now, on April 23rd, Ivan Fedotov signed a 2-year contract for $6.5 million, a $3.25 million AAV. Back on June 28th, well, let's go to June 23rd first. June 23rd was the day that Matvei Michkov's KHL contract was terminated. And I remember the Delaware Valley rejoicing. And on July 1st, Matvei Michkov signed a 3-year entry-level contract. On June 28th, it was first night of the NHL entry draft. Flyers drafted at 13th overall, Jet Lachenko from the Sphere in Las Vegas. Made a bunch of other picks as well, but Jet Lachenko, the Flyers' first-round selection in that draft. Now, on July 25th, the Flyers signed Travis Konecny to an $8 million contract, or 8x875, 8 years, $70 million for TK. They make that extension, which will go into effect next year. On October 11th, Flyers dropped the puck on the 2024-25 season. It was in Vancouver, 10 o'clock at night. Matvei Michkov made his debut versus the Canucks. He did not have a point in that game. But on October 12th, the next day, he did. Got his first point. It was an assist for the Philadelphia Flyers against the Calgary Flames. And then he got his first goal in the next game on October 15th in Edmonton. Matter of fact, he got his first 2 goals in that game. That was an OT loss against the Oilers. Big dates, indeed. October 27th, got our first look in the NHL of Alexei Kolosov. He made his debut. He made 20 saves and 24 shots against the Montreal Canadiens. And those are the big days of 2024 calendar year. And there's some elements in there that are going to have repercussions for years to come. From the Cutter Gauthier trade, Jamie Drysdale acquisition in that trade, that's going to have repercussions going forward. From obviously getting Michkov here early, the contract extension of Travis Konecny, Kolosov could be a big part of that future as well. So it could be a very consequential year for the Philadelphia Flyers because they also acquired some picks. They go into the 2025 NHL entry draft with 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, 3 picks in the top 45. So it could be a very consequential year, 2024, to the success, ultimate. If they have success in this rebuild, we may look back on 2024 as being a big, big calendar year part of it. Now, 2025, we're knocking on that door. We're there now. What are the expectations for the calendar year? So from now until December 31st, 2025, what are the expectations that I have for the Flyers in that period of time? Well, first and foremost, I think they'll use 2 of the 3 first-round picks they have, and they'll use 2 of the second-round picks of 3 that they have. I think they'll use one of those first, one of those second, in some kind of a hockey trade. I don't think at the deadline. I think it's more likely to happen in the offseason. So that's first and foremost. I think they will turn over 3, maybe 4 players on the roster year to year. I don't know exactly which players or position those are, but I think they will turn that over. And I think part of that will be a significant hockey trade that addresses the center position. I don't know that it's one that lands you that 1C, but I think part of it will involve the center position. Now, when I had Keith Jones on Christmas Eve, he brought up, you don't want to go out and get the best center available. You want to get the best center. And kind of look on his face. People want to go back and listen to that. You know, sometimes when you have free agent dollars available, but the free agent class isn't great, it's more important to kind of be careful how you spend. Don't just spend because you have it at that time if the need is not available that's out there. So just something that kind of stuck out to me. I believe they will make some kind of, or excuse me, not trade, but sign some kind of mid-level free agent, perhaps a middle six left winger, perhaps, and again, depends on what you trade in a hockey trade or you trade at the deadline. Pending how this goalie situation plays out with Ersson, Fedotov, and Kolosov, maybe a goaltender. I think they'll make some kind of free agent acquisition. I think in the calendar year, we'll probably see the NHL debut of Sami Tuomaala and maybe Hunter McDonald. And I think there's a 50-50 chance that there's a coaching change within the year. Now, I don't think it's a firing of John Tortorella. I think it's more of a handoff of the torch from Torts. Say that 3 times fast. Torts has 1 year left on his deal after this year. Now, I think part of it will depend on who's available to be the next coach after John Tortorella. Depends how Torts feels at the end of the season. I think he remains with the organization if he is not behind the bench next year, and he's a senior advisor in the organization. Those are the things that I think are going to happen. But the biggest thing I think that's going to happen in 2025, and this is the biggest and most important thing, I think this is where the Flyers get off the treadmill and begin the next stage of a rebuild, which is becoming a team that is now ready to begin the process of being a perennial playoff team, working its way to that next step of being a Stanley Cup contender. Now, in that process, when you get a team that can get to the playoffs, then you're still learning. In that process, you're going to learn which players that you have, do they have what it takes to be successful in the playoffs? It's another part of the equation, which is why it's always good to get into the playoffs because you start to get those answers right away. Playoffs are a different animal. Some players shrink in that environment. Some are incredible in that environment, like the Flyers general manager, Danny Briere, was a great playoff player. So that's the next step. That part of the process will happen in the calendar year 2025, including learning playoffs in what you have in goal, handling the pressure of being the goalie in best of 7 playoff series. Really important information to get. That's what I expect. What do you guys expect? You can always tweet me at Jason Myrt, JASON, MYRT. DMs are open there as well, or you can email me at jason.myrtetus, MYRTETUS @gmail.com. Love to hear your expectations for the calendar year as well. Flyers in Vegas tonight. Let's roll the dice. We'll break it down tomorrow. Join us then on a brand new Flyers Daily.